So, Tamika, you're a 20-year cervical cancer survivor. As a woman of color, can you tell us more about what challenges you faced when it came to being diagnosed and treated for cervical cancer?
Well, the first was that I didn't know anyone else who had cervical cancer. So I didn't see anyone that looked like me. I didn't think that this could be real. And it was hard to find any stories of people who had been diagnosed with cervical cancer. Obviously, I'd heard of other types of cancer, but cervical cancer just wasn't one of the ones that I was familiar with. So it left me feeling alone, but also unsure of any type of expectations while hearing those words, "you have cervical cancer," which is heavy.
Well, tell us about the organization you founded, focusing on giving support and information to women who are dealing with cervical cancer.
It really was that I didn't want to be alone. And so, I didn't seek out to start an organization, but really it became what I wish I had when I was going through my cervical cancer diagnosis. And it really has been a beacon call for other women, and I'm proud of it. It's the legacy. It's how I make my survivorship count. And as a professional storyteller, I wanted other people to share their stories. It couldn't just be me. And I'm so proud of all the women who are rising above the stigma and shame of HPV and its connection to cervical cancer to share their stories to make a difference, because we know that we need to spread awareness around this.
Right. What other advice would you have for other women going through their own cancer diagnosis?
Well, one, I want them to know that they're not alone. I want them to know that there is nothing that they have to be ashamed of, and I want them to actually go and watch the stories that we have partnered with CGen and GenMab to amplify the stories of women diagnosed with cervical cancer on CeMe Stories on YouTube, and it's CeMe is CEME. And so those stories are powerful, they're impactful, and they spread awareness, but they also give women hope. I mean, I'm a 21-year cervical cancer survivor, and when I watch the other videos outside of my own on CeMe, they empower me. They provide me hope, because it doesn't matter how long you've been a survivor. Cancer is forever with you.
So with that in mind, why is it important for women to see stories from other women who may be at risk for or have already been diagnosed with cervical cancer?
Because things happen in life, whether there's a reoccurrence, whether they're emotionally, because I think a lot of people, when they think about cancer, whether they've been diagnosed with it or a loved one, they think about the emotional impact of it, the physical impact of it. But the emotional impact of cervical cancer or any type of trauma that's happened to your life is on another level. And so there's just that emotional, social support that comes with hearing other people's story, knowing you're not alone, and knowing that you're not experiencing this or it's just in your head or whatever. And it empowers you to have a conversation with your doctor. It empowers you to have conversations with your family. And in return, not only does it help heal you, but it helps someone else going through something similar.
Right. And Tamika, is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience about CeMe and where they can go for more information?
They can go to YouTube and search for CeMe Stories, and CeMe is CEME. And I would love for them all to just go there, watch the stories, obviously leave us a comment, ask questions, just be interactive with it, and don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others, because we know awareness is the key to making sure that everyone knows that they are not alone and they feel supported within a cervical cancer diagnosis.
Tamika, thank you so much for being with us today to share this brave story of survivorship and this really very important information with our listeners. We appreciate you.
You're so very welcome. Thanks for having me.